There we go. Hopefully you can hear me now. Let me see if that works. We'll get it on tracking mode. There we go. And okay, that should be working. Hopefully you've got audio and you've got tracking video. And let me come over here. Stream settings, okay. Stream health claims that it's excellent. So I'm going to try and get a project done here. And that project involves whoa. My torch. So, been a while since I've used this, but let me get a propane tank, and I'll be right back. Don't want the bugs to get in. Let me find propane tank. Hopefully I've got some actual propane in there. I haven't used the propane quite some time. The canister is a little lighter than I was hoping for. So maybe it is relatively empty. But if it is, we can use the smaller torch and we'll probably still be okay. So get this connected. And let's see. In fact, I will get my other torch just so that I can use that to start this torch, if no other reason. All right. And let me change my settings over here so that I can go public. And save. There we go. Hopefully that makes it so that everyone can see instead of just the old members. All right, so my tracking is having a little bit of difficulty tracking there. So, all right. So I've got the propane connected and I'm going to switch over to my webcam camera so that I can take this outside. Go on a ride here. I've got a mess to clean up over here. And I'm hoping that this will work. Hey, Billy. Hey, Kevin. I'm doing all right. Let's see. So I'm hoping to get rid of some weeds. I don't know that I've ever tried this particular method. I think I tried it a little bit with this little torch last year, but I think it might be fun to try and burn this crap down because it's a lot. I don't know if I've got any propane in here, but we'll find out. Let me turn this guy on first. All right, that one's ready to go. I'm not hearing anything. Yeah, I think this might be empty. Oh wait, did I? Yeah, it's opened all the way. That's opened all the way. Yeah. I think this is an empty canister. Darn it. Let me see if I've got any others. I think that's probably my only propane canister. I mean, propane tank, whatever. So, darn. This was going to be so much fun. Well, let me at least try. Yeah. I can't see chat right now, but my idea on this guy is just to try and burn as close to the roots as I can. I figure that'll probably kill it. Because I don't want these things to come back. And Let's see. Now you might think that pulling the weeds would just be easier and a better solution overall. And you may be right, but pulling the weeds does not allow me to burn the weeds. And isn't it more fun to burn than... Uh, all right. A little disappointed that didn't have any propane in the big tank. Oh, looks like I've got a lot of chat to catch up on. And let's see, is that all right? That's high enough, probably. All right. Well, let's see. It's saying that there might be some buffering going on. How are you guys experiencing things? Are you all right? Let me switch over to this view. Hey, there we are. Okay. And let me see if, okay. Let me just check my here on the stream and stuff. So let's see, my video encoder is running at 73%, CPU at 32%. That all looks fine. I don't know why we having any issue with rendering or encoding lags based on what I'm seeing there. All right, let me know in the stream if it's working okay for you or not. See, oh, it tells me the stream health is healthy now, but I wonder if maybe I just had the phone a little too far away from the router. That's probably the problem because my phone is connected via the router on Wi-Fi, and maybe I just got a little too far away. All right, let me get into the chat here. So Billy and Kevin, Todd. Hey Todd, how's it going? Billy, it'll grow back after you burn it. Yeah, maybe. Hi Jen, thanks for being here. Has a torch, not afraid to use it. Amen, brother. Let's see. Mike, Jen, Mike, Kevin. Hey Jackie, thanks for being here. And get your hands on some Garland 3A herbicide. Those weeds would never come back. I've got some stuff. It's probably not what you're saying, but this is what I typically put down. Not sponsored here or anything, but usually I put down the ground clear. my pixie is focusing in on me instead of on the can, but so it's supposed to last a year. It doesn't usually seem to last the full year, but I think I need to get rid of what's there right now and then put this down. So it doesn't seem to do as well killing the stuff that's already there. Seems to do better preventing things from growing once I already clear it out. But okay. Todd heading to bed. What? How dare you? Hope you rest well. And let's see. Okay. The botany pyrotechnic scientist. I wouldn't call it science. Okay, it's good. So a little bit of lag. And seems okay now. All right. Let's see. Get your hands on, yeah, some Garland 3A herbicide. Better now. How's the family doing? Yeah, family is doing pretty well. So the missus is, doing well. She had a friend over earlier, and they were doing some redecorating in the house, which is always a little concerning because of what she might ask me to hang on the walls and how many holes I'll have to punch in the walls. And especially because she likes to do like arrangements, and so things need to be like this picture needs to be the same height as this picture, and usually it's odd numbers, so at least 3, sometimes 5, whatever, right? And thankfully they only asked me to hang one thing, and it was relatively easy, so had to go into drywall instead of into the studs, but it was pretty light, and so I just used a couple of drywall screws and it went in just fine and ended up level after the fact, so no problems. Tom is not bad, just relaxing, sweet. Do my best to say something other than the woodworking pyro. yeah, whatever works, man. I like fire. I'm not gonna shy away from that. But I do have another project that I need to get done. I was hoping to be able to, let me get that shut off. Okay, and disconnected. I do have another project that I'm needing to get done. Let me put this stuff away before I progress to the next project. So last Thursday, my yard became flooded through no fault of my own. I thought it was my fault at first, but I realized later that it was not my fault because the subdivision that I live in recently turned on the irrigation water, and the pipe broke. Oh, apparently I didn't catch that I'm back in the shop now. So the pipe broke and at the valve, so I couldn't shut it off, and so it just flooded that whole side of the house. Got to the house, and the water even seeped into the crawl space. So some friends, neighbors from anyway, friends and neighbors came over, and we punched out the vent on the foundation, and put a hose down there, and with the submersible pump, because there were a couple of inches of water in the crawl space. So got the vent punched out, the hose in there, pumping it out. Overnight, basically all the water was extracted. And then where the in front of the vent, my friend brought over a box fan. I also had a fan that we had that I put down in the crawl space to move some air. And so we just had that fan running, and it's been running since then. And for a couple of different reasons. Number one, to have plenty of airflow to dry everything out and try to prevent any mold. And number two, because my vent is not covered. So just left the fan there to keep things covered. So now it should be plenty dry down there. So I'm thinking to go down into the crawl space and put on a new vent. And that's what this is for. It's always dangerous opening packages on a live stream. I think this is what I ordered, but you never know. It might be something that my wife ordered, and don't necessarily want that to be broadcast on the world. You know what I mean? But it is what I ordered. It is 8 mesh 304 stainless steel. So I just need to cut off. This is supposed to be 16 inches across, which it is not. Oh no, it's not. It's 12 inches. So I need to measure out a length of 16 inches and then cut it to 6 inches to match the size of this guy, 16 by 6. And then I can take it down and secure it to the crawl space vent area. Let's see. Oh, Billy, you asked about my wife, or you asked about my family. I mentioned my wife. I don't know if I talked about my daughter yet, but she's doing well too. She's been home from the hospital for over 2.5 weeks now, and she's still on oxygen at night, but doing pretty well. She's been decreasing her oxygen need, over the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that continues and that she's able to get off of the oxygen here within the next few weeks. So overall, she's doing well. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Let's see. JRH, thanks for being here. Let's see, anyone else pop in that I haven't noticed yet? Kevin's still here. Jen, okay. All right, so I'm going to measure this out and cut it, and then get ready to go down to the crawl space. You guys want to go to the crawl space with me? After a manner of speaking? Thought that might be interesting for you guys, a little bit different project than what I've typically done on my live streams, but oh, all right. So pretty curly. I'm gonna move that motor out of the way. This is the motor that I got for the new bandsaw. For those of you who missed my live the other day, let's see. Yeah, great news about your daughter. Progress is amazing. Yeah, she's been doing great. Very pleased. So here we go. And I guess it'll be easier for me to do it this direction since I don't have this part sticking up on the backside. But all right. Okay. I'm going to put on some gloves so that I hopefully don't injure myself while cutting this. So I got the 8 mesh, which basically means there's a 1/8 of an inch between each wire. So I think you're supposed to use anywhere between 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch for foundation vents, is what I was looking at as far as the code. 1/4 inch is apparently more common, but in certain jurisdictions they say to use the 8 mesh or the 1/8 inch holes because those prevent embers that are potentially could get in and set the house ablaze. I'm not that worried about embers getting in over there, but I wanted as small an opening as I could, so that I'm preventing critters and whatever from getting in. But let's see, someone's calling me. The missus. Let me see if I can if she can text me instead here. And yeah, so I want to limit the types of critters that can get in, insects, whatever, but also want maximum airflow. So AI told me that this is the smallest recommended holes, and so that's what I went with. All right. So, all right. Let me get my snips here. And just to be sure, 6-inch by just under 16-inch. I'm going to cut this right there. And I'm using the 304 stainless steel because apparently this is too strong for mice and whatever to be able to chew through. All right, so that was a perfectly angled cut. See? Perfect. And 6-inch. All right. Is there a better way to snip these? Can everyone hear me okay? I think it might be easier if these snips weren't so thick. It's making it kind of difficult to position them. They're not having any difficulty snipping. Just a question of getting to the right spot so that they can snip away. So maybe some snips that aren't quite so heavy duty would be easier to do this job with. All right. Snipping complete for now. And all right. Let me see how I did as far as that goes. All right. It looks like that's just about right on as far as the width. I've got a bit more length there than needed, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. I was hoping that I would have enough width for both these, but that's, you know, a fair amount shorter. If I go to the edge here, I'm going to see it's close to 1/2 inch probably short. And then as far as my length here, yeah, over on that one too. So, great job, Pelado. Excellent work. I'm gonna snip off this little straggler there. All right. I was thinking what might make the most sense based on what I have observed. I haven't been down there yet. Well, not recently, not since the problem. But I was thinking to use my stapler, but I don't know if I have my stapler. My son borrowed it. I don't know that I ever got it back. Where would I have put it? Apparently it's not up here. Let me see if I've got it in one of these containers down here. Okay. No. No. But I might be using that later tonight. Let's see. Back there. What is back there? Oh, okay. Sandpaper goods. No, not in there. Zip ties, sharpeners, sharpening stones, diamond stones, hole saws, compound. Oh yeah, that's the angle guide. In there. Not behind there. Let's see. Good job. Okay. Yeah, who needs square lines? Exactly. Exactly. Mike knows what I'm talking about. Loud and clear. Oh, good. See, how's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. Hey, Steve, thanks for being here. How is everyone doing tonight? Going. Good, just hanging out. Yeah, sweet. All right. And place the crap. How do I have that down there? All right. We got some clamps and some bungee cords. All right. I'm going to want the knee pads later. Edge banding. I do not see the staple gun. What did I do with that? Does my son still have it? That would make sense as to why I can't find it. And if I can't find it, then I would have to use a different technique. Where is it? Would I have put it anywhere else? Might as well put the torch away. And that qualifies for putting the torch away for now. Don't know why I would have put it in this mess. There, no. I'm going to go out on a limb and say my son still has it. I think he used it. It's just a little like appliance, or not appliance, but furniture upholstery stapler type thing. So just hand powered, not a power stapler. But he borrowed it because they were putting, he and his roommates were putting some felt on a table, for a gaming table or something. So, all right. Love to tell you where the stapler is. I don't know where stuff is in my shop. Yeah, I can understand that. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, it's telling me that I'm skipping some frames due to an encoding lag. Are you guys noticing any problems on the stream, or is it working okay for you guys? Okay, so yeah, I just had a couple of errors pop up about half an hour ago, but yeah, otherwise it seems like it's going fine. Okay, so if I can't use the stapler, then I should do something a little bit differently. And maybe I should do something differently anyway. My biggest problem is that I don't know what to expect when I get down there. Working good. Oh, good. On the outside, I can see that there's a strip of wood. Early morning, Kevin's off. All right. Hey, thanks for being here, Kevin. Appreciate it. From the exterior, I can see that there's a small strip of wood around where the vent goes. This vent was on the inside of that wood. And I don't know, I don't see any fasteners that it was using. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect when I get down there. My friend and neighbor was kind enough to go into the crawl space for me last Thursday, and he was able to just punch that out. But I'm not sure what to expect as far as what it's going to look like to connect things down there. So I'm thinking I might want to just cut up some strips of wood similar in size to what I saw on the outside there, and then just have those down there with me, you know, cut them to 16 inches and you know, basically 6 inches there, um, and then be able to set the screen up on the vent, and you know, set the strip of wood and screw it down so that then this is, you know, secured there. But I don't know if that's going to work until I get down there. Um, so let's go take a look and measure how big the wood is. And I'm going to need, I'll just take this flashlight and let's take a little ruler and go on a trip. And I will switch you over to the other camera while we go on our trip. All right, who's ready for our adventure? All right. Oh, and of course I dropped my ruler right as I'm trying to turn on my flashlight. There we go. It's not easy to pick up my ruler with the glove on. All right, I guess I can just use the magnet on the flashlight to hold the ruler. That's easier. Oh, here's where I cut down the willow last year. Used to be up yet. There's the dwarf apple tree that I planted that has there's a little dwarf. Okay. All right. Here's my fan setup. So I've got 2x4s around that, a little bit of air filter mesh that I stuffed down below to try and prevent anything from getting in around the edges. So I'll just come over here to one next to it and let me put you guys up here. Okay. So got a bunch of all right. So That looks to be about 1 inch. Thick. So, say goodbye to the fan. Just mowed earlier today and sprayed for all the weeds that are in the lawn over here. And tried burning these ones. Didn't work that great. And back in the shop. All right. There we go. And whoa, we'll switch you back over to that camera. And go. All right. What are you hunting for, Snipe? Nope. Hey, Norm, thanks for being here. No, I am looking to replace the vents on the foundation, or the vent cover anyway, on the foundation vent. So had to punch this one out recently. Oh, it's a little further back there than I thought. Had to punch this one out in order to get a hose in there. So now trying to replace it. Okay. Cutting out. Oh, yeah, I was probably too far from the router again. Or, yeah, from the router again. Sorry about that. I hope I don't have that trouble when I go into the crawl space. Yeah, I could be cutting out again when I go into the crawl space. That's not great. All right. Old Path, thanks for being here. Bandsaw tire should be in Monday. Sweet. Yeah, those. So Old Path needs to replace the tires on his bandsaw, and so one of the things I was going to show you, Old Path, is okay. When I replaced the tires on mine, I had a bit of a tough time on it at first because I was really struggling to get them in place. And so once I got the tire on the wheel, I needed to secure it there and then continue on around the rest of the wheel, right? But you see how it's got these, the ribs here and the deal there. So I tried using a clamp, but I had very little clamping, very little spot to clamp with. And so what I ended up doing is making several of these guys. And so what I was able to do with these is, as I would get the tire on there, I would slip this on, and of course there's a there's a big knot in that one that's breaking off. Let me use a different one. I'm like, why isn't that going on? So I'd slip that on, and then and then I could clamp it into place. And then I'd, get it further along, right? You get it on there, clamp that into place, right? And then moved all the way around until the tire was all the way on. Otherwise, if I didn't have it clamped on like that, I'd get over here and it would start pulling it off over here. So even when I was using the clamp, just on this little lip here, I would clamp that, but again, I'm getting less than half of the space there. And so once I got enough done over here, this would just force the clamp off. So if you want to watch the live stream for when I was doing that, it's on the channel. So, kind of embarrassing, but for those of you that enjoy watching that sort of stuff. And then I saved these just in case I ever need to change the tires again. You never know. I mean, I'm hoping I never have to, but just in case. And then the other thing that I was trying to talk to you about the other day on your live Old Path is the first thing, if you're having trouble with your blade, the first thing I would look at is the blade tracking properly, right? So is it staying basically in the middle, right? And if it's shifting from side to side, that's going to cause you problems, right? And so the first thing to do is adjust the tracking. And the tracking is adjusted with this center screw right here, okay? And once you have that dialed in to where it's, staying on the right path, then I'd also make sure your bottom tire, that it's staying in the middle of your bottom tire. Once you have those set, then I would go to your guides, and you want the blade. I've got this a little too far back. Let me switch to camera 2, so to speak. All right. So I've got this one a little too far back, but you should basically have only enough room here for this to spin without, oh, there we go. I think that's pretty much where it's supposed to be. That's actually too far forward now. I think that was just kind of cut somewhere for some reason. So that should be able to spin without touching this, or rather, when you're running the blade and you're not pushing anything through, there shouldn't be any contact with that, right? So the blade should be able to run without contacting that bearing. But as soon as you start pushing something through, you should start seeing this move with the blade. And then the guides here, right? And similar thing for down below, right? So so let me think. Yeah, so there's a bearing down here too. And I don't know how well you can see that, but right here, there's another one, and same thing. You don't want that to be contacting the blade unless you've got pressure from something that you're cutting. And then for these little guides here, you want them to be not touching the blade, but very, very close to touching the blade. And you want them to be, as far as how close they are. They should be just behind where the teeth of the blade are. So they shouldn't be touching the teeth. They should be just behind, right? So you can kind of see where this little block here, it should be behind the teeth of the blade, but just barely behind the teeth. And then same thing on the little blocks down there too. So we've got a block there. And I've got a bunch of videos showing how I adjusted mine for better or for worse. But so if that doesn't make sense, you can watch those videos and hopefully get a better idea of what I'm trying to say. Mike is all wiped out. All right, Mike, good night. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to here. Hey, there we are. And I'll just put the cover back on the old bandsaw. Okay, doing great here, huh? All right. There we go. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let me get back to making a frame, an interior frame for my event cover. So and Mike's lead. Hey, Trevor, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Anyone who hasn't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe if you like this kind of content. And all right, so I'm going to put the bandsaw fence over here on the old bandsaw, but I need to raise up the guide first. Old path, let me know if that instruction was helpful or not on tuning up your bandsaw. All right. Okay, move that stuff out of the way. I'm going to use the table saw, I think. I'll apply the brakes. Move this bandsaw out of the way. And move the miter saw a little bit out of the way. And drop a bunch of stuff. All right. Including the old Grabber Pro. And might need that later. And okay. And let's see. I think Yeah. I think I want to use some redwood because that is less likely to have problems with the weather. All right, so that is just about the right length. Just short, but that's about 15 and 5/8. But I can make the, well, let me see if I've got one that's 16. No, that one's a little shorter. All right. I think I'm going to go with this anyway. And if I do 1-inch strips, I'll probably make that work. Right? Right? I'm in line with others you've watched. Oh, cool. Who wouldn't like your content? That's a great question, Norm. That is a great question. But there might be some weirdos out there who, for whatever reason, don't like it. And for some reason, my Pixie seems to have switched back to standard mode instead of tracking. There we go. You believe that thing? Hey, good night, JRH. Thanks for being here. Norm needs to call it a night. Love to hang all night. Sleep is a real thing. Hey, I appreciate that. Have a good night, man. Get some good sleep. All right, so that's already about the right height. So let's make them some 1-inch strips here. And I think I'll use that push stick and get some eye and ear protection on. And there we go. And well, we'll go with that. All right. Then my dust collection should come on automatically because they're on a switch here. And I'll use this guy too. All right. So that is just about okay. And oh yeah, need to shave that down to 1 inch. All right, and need my push stick. I was a little worried about when it would hit that knot, but turned out okay. All right, so now I want to cut this guy down to size. So do 6 inches. All right. So then I'm going to do, I think, half lap here. So bring it back to 5 inches. And I'll lower this down to half. And let's see where half is on this guy. Oh, it's not going to work. Not as exact here, but all right. So We'll try right there. And actually, yeah, I'll just do an inch on these guys. Works pretty well. Now I can clean these off with a chisel and get them a little cleaner, but I don't know that I'm going to worry about it. So now, how much to take off of these? Because, oh, I guess I've got the ruler right there. So that's about 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do 7/8 of an inch off of these guys. All right. So these are supposed to be right, so those are about 15.5. No, about 15 3/4. So So 14 3/4 would be, no, I'm just going to go to 15 right now. Now, the idea would be, and actually let me do it the other direction. The idea would be, I've got these guys like that, these guys like that, and okay, that's actually longer than I needed. So, how much longer? Almost half an inch. About half an inch. So I'll take another 1/4 inch off of both sides. Alan, yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Let's see. So I was at 15. So I need to go down to 14 3/4. And give you the other view here. Yep, Jen's still sticking around. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. Now, one thing that I just realized I didn't really test for very well is whether or not I got that right in the middle. That's one thing I was going to test a little more, but didn't. And not quite. So there's a little bit of lip there. I think part of that might just be because it's not that clean. Let me just get out the old chisels. See if I can clean those off a little bit. Not quite there, but yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, still not perfect, but right. In case you want a better view of what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do anyway. Hey, Kevin. I am still at it here. And hey, Tim, thanks for being here. I'm just making a frame for my new vent cover. And hoping that it'll work. Because I haven't actually been down inside the crawl space lately to see what it needs. Okay. So that should work. This will be the interior frame, so no one's going to see it. Well, unless anyone else goes into the crawl space. I was thinking initially to just staple my stainless steel mesh onto the existing wood frame that's down there, but I couldn't find my stapler. I think my son might still have it. So just cleaning off the saw marks from my half lap on the table saw, since I don't have a flat toothed blade on there. I don't think I have any flat toothed blades. Well, except my potato stack. All right. So I recognize that I'm not going all the way over on this piece, and that's because this guy was a little bit short. So I think that gets me. pretty much where it would need to be. So part of me wants to secure this together up here where it'll be a lot easier. But I'm also somewhat concerned that it won't work as it is, and that I might have to make some adjustments to it once I get down there. What do you guys think? Should I risk it? Attach it all together now? Or take it down there and try to assemble it in place? What are your thoughts? Can you guys hear me okay? I have to remember that there's a little bit of a delay on the broadcast, so sometimes I get a little antsy when I ask a question and I don't see a response right away. But while I'm waiting, I will do a little cleanup. Okay. Hey, Caleb. Good to see you, Woodchucker. So, what do you guys think? Should I try to secure the frame together now? That's going to go around one of these guys. And really, I could just secure this to it now. And then the idea would be to sandwich this up against the wooden frame that's in there right now and just screw it in from the backside. But really, I should have it like this so that I've got my full complement there. What do you guys think? Secure it now and risk it not working as constructed, or try and assemble it down there with probably a lot less light and a lot more less comfortable and all the stuff. What do you guys think? Okay, Love, I said hi. Why don't you tell him yourself? Okay. Good. One. Okay. This may be dumb, but I think I'm going to try to secure it together now. I'm going to be really stupid and actually glue it together. And then I think brad nail it. See what size of brad nail I have in there right now. Probably too long. Maybe a little longer than I want. See what other sizes I've got here. 1.5 is definitely too much. 1.5, 1.5. What size is that? 1 inch. Do I have any other sizes? If I did, I'm not sure where they would be. I think I've got some different pin nailer sizes. But yeah, 5/8, 3/4. But I don't know that I want to trust pin nails for something I'm going to be dragging down there. All right, I'm going to try my 1-inch brad nails. And some glue. Use type bond 3 since it's going to be exposed to the elements. And I'm going to get some more. Okay. That should be plenty of brad nails. Okay. And I'm going to put this on here. Let's see if it's, yeah, just get here. Actually, flip it around. All right. All right. I'm not seeing anyone telling me differently, so let me change this to live chat so I see everything instead of just top messages. All right. All right. So that should and yeah, that's not going to be long enough. Nope. So let me grab a different clamp. Right. And actually, I'm going to this over. All right. There we go. need to figure out how to use my clamps. There we go. All right. And all right, so this is max pressure of 120. I want these to go no lower or no deeper than an inch. So I'm going to dial it back. Maybe 90. See how far that goes. And let's try that. And that went a little too far. So dial it down to less than that. Still too much. That was at 60. Let's try 30. Not enough. $45. Oh. That was unsupported on the back side. Looks like it went a little too far, but ooh, that looks like it's probably about perfect. And of course it kept going down. Uh, think that might have jammed. Okay. A little too far. And all right. We'll call that good. Okay. All right. Got my frame. So now pretty much time to go down. Actually, no. First, I want to drill through this. Let's see. So if I use 1¼ inch screws. That should work. I'll just take a handful with me. And hey, sweetheart. Yes, I am. What's going on? You want to say family prayer? Okay. I can do that in a minute. All right. See, that should be good. All right, I'll go in for a minute here. So all right, that gets me clearance. That should be good. And looks to be close to center. Yeah, it's not that close to center, but whatever. Ooh, that's hot. All right, so let me make sure that I have enough screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got exactly the right number. All right. Okay. I think I'll just take this one down with me. And I'll take that. And we'll go have family prayer with the family real quick. And then do the crawl space. All right. We'll be back shortly. On my way, family prayer. Just the mic for a minute or two. And I'm back, mostly. But now I need to gather my stuff for going into the crawl space. So I'm changing into some shoes that I'm not worried about being down there. Let me get a headlamp. All right. Oh, something dropped there. So it's just a strap of some kind. All right. Navigating through this mess of a shop. All right. So, did I have you pointed over there this whole time? Maybe not the best view. Welcome back. Hey, thanks, Eric. Thanks for being here. See to point. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it was time for family prayer. So I cut the microphone and said the prayer with the family, and saw the title of live, and you had to come in. Yeah, I'm definitely doing something stupid. So yeah, still here. And here, let me switch over to. Oh, looks like I am on the dual camera setup. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I ran in for family prayer. So we've got Cedar Point, we've got Eric, we've got Jen, we've got Tim. So, all right. So I've been making a cover for my foundation vent, and so I've just got this ready, I think, to take down into the crawl space. I haven't been down in there to see what it looks like exactly, so I'm hoping that this is going to work, but I'm not exactly sure. But the idea is, I know that there's wood on the exterior of about an inch, and so basically I just framed this out. So I'll put my mesh there and then drill into the wood that's already there, I'm hoping, and we'll be all good. So I'm going to need my impact driver. Let's make sure I've got the right hit on there. Nope, that's not the right one. That is. So I'm going to leave that up here. I usually use my little magnets there for my most common bits, but I am not going to trust the magnet as I'm dragging everything through the crawl space. So got that, got my headlamp. I think I might try to use this guy for the camera. And that could work. And all right, so headlamp. Let's go messy hair instead of my Pelado Creations hat. So I can get my headlamp on. I'm going to take an extra flashlight just in case. And I'm going to put my extra flashlight in the other pocket so it's not grabbing all of the screws. Let me just verify again that I've got the right number here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, actually looks like I might have 11. And that's okay. All right. So got that. I'm going to wear the gloves down there while I'm carrying that stainless steel. I won't be able to access the chat, and I'm hoping that my Wi-Fi doesn't cut out, but we'll find out. Okay, fill me in while we're going out of the house. Under the house. Spiders, yep. Imagine dark since the middle of the night. Yeah, it's going to be dark down there either way. So I figure might as well, in case of a raccoon attack. Sure, I'm definitely leaving the mic on, but I want to make sure it's on. But I won't be able to access chat while I'm down there. But you know, I'll be able to come back and catch up on everything after I get back. So let's do this, right? I've got impact driver, vent, camera, screws, extra flashlight, headlamp. I think I'm ready to go. So I will switch over to the other camera here. Take that with me. Hey, hey, hey. And all right. Here we go. Put this, make sure the safety's on. Here we go. All right. Let's go. Go in our Harry Potter closet, as we call it. And open this guy up. Oh, of course that fell down as soon as I set it over there. All right. Okay. Oh, got my N95 mask. Knew I was forgetting something. All right. Let's go back. And here we go. All right. Much better. Of course, right after I put it on, it makes me want to cough. All right. Huh. These shoes have more traction than what I was expecting. So here we go. All right, let's make our way. Oh, I forgot to put on my knee pads too. Okay. Oh, is my phone working here? What's going on? Looks like I might have lost connection with my phone. So let me see what's going on there. And as I see what's going on there, I can possibly get my knee pads too. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Maybe chat can help me figure it out. Yep, screen is dead. Yeah, I'm going to turn this off while I figure that out. Wall space access from inside the house. Hey Tim, good night, man. Appreciate it. Let me see. I mean, it's acting like the battery's dead, which is weird because I had it hooked up to the battery over there. Yeah. Did I not have it seated properly? Wonder if it wasn't getting any power from here. Huh. Yeah, this battery backup is saying it's at 100%. So 3%, 4%. So I'll let that speed charge. Actually, this charger over here is a little more powerful. I'll just bring it over here. So I'll speed charge this up to like 10% or something. And then I'll switch it over to this guy, and that should be able to keep the power up. Not going how I wanted here, but we'll get it figured out. I'm waiting for that to charge. I'll do a little bit of cleanup here. get things back where they're supposed to be. Including these clamps. And over here. All right. This goes there. This can go on here. Don't need the air in the air compressor anymore, I think. The screws can go up here. This stuff can all go back down there. That's garbage. Also garbage. This is also garbage. And oh, see, I got out the knee pads, then I forgot to put them on before I went down there. All right, now I think that's the top. All right. And trying to have pretty much full body coverage before I go down there. So as to avoid spider bites or just general filth on my body. All right. Interesting that you haven't seen crawl space access from inside the house. This is our third house, and all of them have had crawl space access from indoors. What part of the country are you in? Maybe that would be part of the reason why you're unfamiliar with this style of crawl space access. Actually, rather than tossing that, I think I will put I was going to just throw this away, but I think instead I will save it for use with the rest of this 304 steel mesh. I really should have my gloves on right now trying to handle this, so as not to get completely cut up. All the houses I've lived in had a crawl space, had a door, some opening from the outside through the foundation. Here in the southeast. Yeah, so I'm in Idaho. Oh, I don't know why that's showing down there. Let's see, is it tracking now? I don't know why it thought that you'd be interested in seeing the ceiling. But whatever. It's like I need to wind it a little tighter. I don't know if that's any tighter. Feels like it's looser. All right. That's good enough. Huh. All right, let's see where we're at on power for this guy. 24%. All right, that is fast charging. Fast. So let me see if there's a way to change out the battery on this guy because it didn't seem very powerful. But I don't see a way to open him up. Safe. Well, maybe it's this guy. Yeah. So he uses 3 AAAs, it looks like. So I'm going to switch those out while the phone battery is continuing to charge. So I'll be right back with some batteries. Because I want to be able to see very easily when I'm down there. As odd as that may sound. So, find some AAAs here. And make my way back. And these batteries are probably no stronger than those ones were. All right. So hopefully that works better. And we're at 28%. And normally I just have this guy taped to the tripod. So you can see I just ripped off the tripod tape there so that I always have power, because I've had that problem before. So I think I'll just tape him on there. All right. 31% now. Now keep it charging while I'm booting up here and reconnecting to the stream. Do I have that on yet? No? Okay. Galaxy. All right. Let me see here. Hey, Lawrence, thanks for being here. Different areas, different codes. If I run a place where it gets frigid, I'd absolutely appreciate crawl space. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yes, it gets cold here. Not terribly cold, but we get into freezing temperatures every winter. We get snow somewhat. We didn't get a lot this year, but usually we get more. Let's see. Hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks, Lawrence. Seven old path. Yep. Load anyone who missed. Yep. The desk my computer is on, I'm using for streaming, was made in 1898. Wow. No way the maker thought this would be used for this. No kidding. Wow, that's an old desk, Cedar. That's crazy. Apparently optimizing apps now. It's pretty amazing. Pretty thrilling, huh? That's weird. Maybe I can figure out how to put a headlamp on. All right, unlock. One is starting. Got my beautiful wife as my background. And let's get reconnected to OBS here. Hey, like we're connected. And make sure that we're actually connected to power. Let's see if it, yep, says it's charging. Okay. All right. So I think we're ready to go down. All right. Okay. Sure my knee pads are good before I start relying on them. Okay, here we go. All right. Of course, where I need to go is pretty much the far corner over there. So, do I want to try going through there or just going through that's over here? I think I'm just going to make my way through the studs over here because looks like I don't really have a lot of clearance there anyway. So it. We're mostly there. Okay. This is it, right here. Here we are. So, let me see here. What's going to be the best way to get this done? Well, this is somewhat disappointing because I was hoping that my 1-inch wood would be a little bit easier to access. But it looks like it's actually comes all the way back here. Um, uh, hmm. Let's see. See if I can get that to stay like that. Um, because I can definitely fit this here. Um, well, let me just, this is more rigid. I could definitely fit it right there. But then I've got an opening that is probably at least 6 inches deep for some creature to come and nest here, which is not what I want. Damn it. So it looks like how it was working before is that there was so that metal frame must have been sandwiched between this wood here and then that outer little frame. Uh, uh, so what to do? Um, well, hmm. Hmm. What I get for building a solution before I knew the exact problem. All right. I think what I need to do is remove that outer piece, that outer wood piece, and sandwich my mesh where the where it was before, where the old vent was. But I can't do that from down here. All right. Well, here we go. And let me just look at. The ground is wet, muddy, but I'm not seeing any signs of mold or anything, even though the water was rushing through right here and over there. So we put the submersible pump down in that corner, and we ran the hose out through here. All right, well, sadly, looks like I need to just take all my equipment and go back in the house, go back in the shop anyway. So, back over there. All right. What was the name of the live stream? Pelado doing something stupid? Yeah, that, that tracks. All right. Pretty pleased with how well this N95 mask is operating. This I was at the crawl space entrance the other day, and pretty bad even right there. Whereas here I'm actually down in it, but it's not really smelling anything, which is maybe the most dangerous. Okay. Get this stuff out of the way. And probably make a fool of myself trying to get out of here. All right, I'm going to take off these shoes. And close up the crawl space. And maybe close up the crawl space. I feel like it needs to go the other direction. Or not. Why the crap isn't that fitting in there? Huh. There's something jamming it. Maybe it's just stuck on some of the insulation. Whatever. Okay. Now I get to come back and find out what Chad has been saying about me this whole time. All right, back to the shop. And oh, I forgot to switch to the other camera view, of course. All right, guys. I was like, oh, let me switch back to the nice camera view. Oh well. All right, I can take off the N95 now. All right, let me catch up here. And you're measuring a house lot on a satellite image from Google Maps. Realtor, not currently. I actually have a real estate license. Don't really do that as my day job, but I can. Just did your continuing education. Cool. Trying to get back into it. Hey, Pine Note, good to see you, man. Fine. Lux Theater, yeah. Let yours go in 2010. Thought about trying to get it current. How long it's been? Probably just have to start over. Yeah, yeah. I actually have a friend that he got licensed here in Idaho years ago, and then accidentally let his license lapse. He just didn't follow up on renewal notifications or whatever. And it hadn't been lapsed for very long. And he tried to get it reinstated, and they're like, no, you got to start over. So if you haven't been licensed since 2010, obviously it depends on the state, but I would think they'd want you to start over. But it's in Idaho, at least, it's not that difficult to get a real estate license. It's a 2-week, required 2-week course. The testing and background check, and I think that was mostly it. So not too difficult. And long time no see. Oh, hey, Darren, thanks for being here. So much has changed in the last 15 years. Doing a couple CE classes won't cut it for me. Yeah. Especially if you're wanting to do it full time, then it'll matter a lot more than for me. I'm not. I was doing it for a different reason, mostly. But did pass. Oh, good. So much has changed in the last 5 years. Yeah, there have been a lot of changes. CE classes here were a joke. Had to sit there for a day and pay the money. Yeah. Although thankfully, locally, at least in Idaho, the CE classes are really cheap relative to other licenses. I've got a couple other licenses that the continuing education is a lot more expensive to do for the most part. There are other options that are relatively inexpensive, but let's see. Fingerprint cards now too. Oh, wow. Sitting in Arizona. I'm in Idaho. I'm not sure if you're asking me, Eric, or someone else, but yeah, I'm in Idaho. Caleb Woodchucker is in Arizona. I don't know who else is in Arizona. Let's see. Hey, everyone. Hey, Lawrence. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. If I had a crawl space in my house, I would want it to be that big. All the ones I've seen are tiny. Yeah, this one's not bad. There's a lot worse. Like the last house I was in, the crawl space was a lot a lot narrower. Not nearly as tall. So it was more of a crawl in that crawl space. We don't have to talk about you. We just know. Good point, Kevin. Good point. If it's been expired more than 3 years, you basically have to start over. Yeah, that makes sense. Grandfather like that. Realtors, just getting started. Cool. Well, it can be a pretty good profession. But a lot of people think, oh, you make so much on each deal, but there's a lot of work that goes into getting that client, working through the deal, getting the deal done. So as long as you're treating it like a real job, then you can do pretty well at it. The classes can be done online now. Had my license, everything had to be in person. Yep. CE classes can be done online. There's also self-study. So you can do remote classes. You can do self-study. I'm cheap, and where I'm not really using my license on a day-to-day basis, it's more. I got the license for these other clients that we were trying to help. Kind of a commercial land deal thing that didn't really work out for me, but it's not part of my day job, and so I'll just get the title companies around here offer free CE classes. They're in person, but you go to the title company, they have a presenter, they have various topics. So anytime they have anything that looks interesting to me, I'll just do the free CE class at the title company. I think some states allow the pre-license course to be done online. Oh, that could be. I know. Well, I don't know, but as far as I know, when I got my license, that was not allowed in Idaho. It was an in-person 2-week course, very rigid as far as when you had to be there. You had to be there for the whole 80 hours. And if you missed anything, you had to catch it the next week or next time or whatever, which I ended up having to do because I got sick and missed missed like a couple hours or something while I was going to the doctor and getting prescriptions so that I wouldn't be super sick all during the course. Enjoyed it. Wasn't doing it full time. Just something I did on the side. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a little disappointed that that didn't work out how I envisioned. Probably would have made sense for me to like go down to the crawl space, scout it out, see what to expect. But I think mostly what I need to do is approach it from the outside. So there's that. I don't know how well you could see, but basically there was a about a 6-inch deep um, board all the way around, about 1 inch thick. And then this, let's see, this vent that was previously there was sandwiched between the sandwiched between the 6-inch wide piece of wood and like a 1-inch wide piece of wood on the other side. And so I should have pulled back the fan and kind of got a better feel for what things looked like. Instead, I was just looking at the one of the other foundation vents, and couldn't really see back behind. So now that I know what to expect, probably I need to just pry off that 1-inch slab, fit in my mesh, and then just sandwich it in there. So that's probably what needs to happen. But it's pretty dark out there right now, so I don't really want to be trying to do that right now. So let's see, actually changed right after you got mine. You got yours. Okay, you did yours online. COVID was just kicking off. Okay, yeah, that makes sense that they had that available for COVID time period. So makes sense. Well, I am disappointed that that this didn't yield better results. Both of the projects that I tried tonight, basically neither of them worked. So I guess the title of the live stream was apt. I tried burning the weeds in my yard, in my around the fire pit and the garden boxes. But turns out that my propane tank was empty. So the big torch that I wanted to use was ineffective. Oh, is my tracking turned off now too? Yeah, it's happened a couple times. I'm not sure why the tracking keeps turning itself off. But yeah, so I've got my propane tank over here that was empty. I guess I can get this guy aimed a little differently. Let's see, how do I want to position him? Do I want to position him? I'll just put him over here on the drill press. How's that? Maybe try and go a little lower there and higher here. Yeah, we'll see. What do you guys think of that angle? Okay. Makes sense. So people let people go online or back to in person only. Have your choice. Yeah. At your pace has tests. Others are just be there. Oh, ours had. Well, let me think. I don't remember. I think we did have a test, a final test at least for the pre-licensing course, but it's been several years ago, so I don't remember for sure. And then obviously there's there was both a national and a state test that we took at once at a testing center. Um, so favorite part was the HUD 1 settlement statement. Always been a math nerd. Yeah, yeah. And I had worked with those statements a lot before ever doing the course, because my day job is in tax, and so I'd worked with a lot of people buying and selling real estate prior to having a real estate license. So that was not a new thing for me. So um, let's see. Um, all right. All right. So that's still working. I'm going to put this guy up here. I'm going to take the screws out of my pocket. Put that back on the magnet. Several other projects that I want to actually get done, even though none of the ones that I intended to get done today have. Well, I got some projects done today, just not the ones I wanted to do on the live stream didn't get done. So frustrating. All right. Well, hey, it is midnight here now. Struck midnight. So I am going to call it good, and I will see you all on the next stream. Hopefully, I'm able to get things actually completed next time instead of not completed. So thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. Good chatting with everybody, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care. Oh, looks like you have a question there, Eric. If you're still here, I see you've got a question about capital gains exemption on sale of a primary home still in effect. Yes, it is. So you can exclude gain up to $500,000 for married filing jointly, or up to $250,000 for single. But you have to have owned and lived in the house for at least 2 years prior to the sale. So the period that you've owned the home don't have to be the same as the period that you lived in the home, but you have to have met the 2-year lived in and the 2-year owned requirement, both within the previous 5 years, the 5 years previous to the sale of the home. And yeah, same rules as well. Not always. So it used to be, to qualify as a primary residence. Yeah, so it has to be your primary residence, right? And you have to have lived in it as your primary residence for at least 2 years out of the previous 5 years. You have to have owned it for at least 2 years. But again, the owned period and the lived in period don't have to be concurrent. So let's say you buy a property and, or let's say you start renting a property, so you live in it, and then a year later you buy it, and then a year later you move out, but you start renting it out to someone else, right? So now you had 2 years of living in it, and you've started your first year of owning it. After another year of owning it, you could sell it and exclude the gain, even though you didn't own it and live in it for the same 2 years. But yeah, back in the olden days, it was more like a 1031 exchange. I can't remember what code section it was, because it predates my time as a tax person, but you had to sell the house and reinvest the proceeds from the sale of your home into another home and basically you'd have to reinvest all of the proceeds. So if you were retiring and downsizing, you were kind of up a creek because at least some of that gain would be recognized. So this is a much more taxpayer friendly rule than what it used to be. Yeah, like-kind exchange. Yeah. So the like-kind exchange now, Section 1031 exchange, it's pretty much for any real property that's used in a trade or business or for investment. And so, if I've got a rental property and I sell that rental property and I roll all of those proceeds over into a new rental property, I can defer the gain from the sale of the original property. Yeah, I've been around the last 20 years. Yeah. Yep, it has more than that. So, but I think it was relatively new when I finished school. So I graduated college in 2002, and I think it was a relatively new rule then. So, and I dealt with lots of people asking questions with their understanding being the old law. So, yeah, I'm getting old though, so it's been a while. So, but it's like, to me, it's like, oh, well, that didn't used to be the rule. Just before, when I was in college is around the time when it changed. It's not that long ago, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a minute since I was in college. So graduated in '96. Graduated college or high school? Yeah, I graduated high school in '94, and then graduated college in 2002 with my master's. Graduate college. All right. High school in '91. Oh, so you're really old. That's even older than my older brother. All right. Not nearly as old as my oldest sisters, though. So my parents had 5 daughters and then 4 sons. So I'm the 7th overall and the second son. Kevin graduated in '96. Oh, so young. Man, so young and inexperienced. Cedar Point in '89. Cool. You're the oldest. Oldest in your family or the oldest in the chat? Because apparently Cedar Point has you beat as far as in the chat. So, any other tax questions before I cut out? Everyone got their returns done and filed by the deadline on the 15th? Oldest child in your family? Yeah. All right, I'll allow it. Nope, thanks. All right. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Hopefully I can get some projects actually done next time on the live. So, all right, take care.